Welcome back to This Week in Bevy. A number of new working groups have been created alongside progress from existing groups. First off, the Bevy weaselification has begun, or rather the working group to figure out what migrating to Weasel would look like and do some testing has been created. Will Weasel be enough for Bevy's needs? Tune into the working group to find out. If you're not already aware, Weasel, WESL, is an extended version of WebGPU's WGSL shading language that is fully compatible with WGSL. It also contains a number of features Bevy already needs, including imports, so it is a potentially great choice to participate in the wider WebGPU ecosystem if it works out. A new Tilemap Rendering working group has also started up, focusing on a rendering abstraction for 2D tilemaps. 18866 is the first work-in-progress PR to come out of the working group, and it's pretty exciting to see this one come together. The Bevy CLI Please Clap working group has also produced Bevy Lint 0.3. The Bevy Linter is a custom linter, like Clippy, that checks for Bevy-specific idioms, optimizations, and footguns. 0.3 brings two new lints, Bevy 0.16 support, a Github Action for installing the linter in CI, docs improvements, and more. And with that, we are into the showcases with Cosmos. Cosmos is a game where you can create your dream spaceship that you can pilot through space. This showcase demos in-progress space stations, but you can also go check out more screenshots over in the GitHub repo. And then we've got some progress on a shmup. This is an asteroids-like shmup that has a pretty nice particle effect when destroying asteroids, as you can see here in the video. And next up, we've got a seamless progressive LOD, that's level of detail, in a fully procedural generated planet. The video demonstrates this by first viewing a small truck in a ditch before zooming out to show the entire planet. Next up, there's some world generation. This is a continuation on previous world generation, and there are now mountains and ocean streams, and an improved triangulation that creates less artifacts. The stream currents are currently created by setting initial values that fake the Coriolis effect, followed by subsequent simulation. And hide yourself in the shadows to avoid the knights in Shadow Sneak. Shadow Sneak is a game jam entry that makes use of the difference of Gaussians crate also mentioned in this issue later on. And this is Shadplay, which is a interactive WGSL environment that you can run that functions a little bit like ShaderToy, but for Bevy and WGSL. It received a few more shader ports to explore and a number of bug fixes. And this is a fun one. Boidsy is a real-time 2D and 3D Boid or flocking simulation. It showcases emergent behavior through local rules such as alignment, cohesion, and separation, and takes advantage of Bevy Spatial. And this is a research or proof of concept project replicating thousands of units over UDP using Bevy Replicon as the base replication framework and ReNet as the transportation layer, all on an unreliable channel. Current goals for the project are to increase the update rate on important or visible units, and in theory this should allow for more realistic and rigid crowd simulation. And this is playing Big Buck Bunny by only loading a few frames at a time, keeping the memory used under control and the initial load constant. This is a demo of functionality in Blue Kinetoscope, which is really just one of those gems of a crate. It allows you to play GIF and WebP, so I'm excited to see some of the future of streaming video in Bevy. And Pop Mania is a new, casual, 2D physics-based iOS game. Shoot balls down to prevent enemies from reaching the end. It's now available on iOS. And this is an early look at a data-driven dialogue system for Bevy. It supports variables, conditionals, input, output, and more. This is a completely custom working runtime, which can evaluate expressions, format f-strings, and more, all while supporting hot reloading. It's designed to support animation instructions, which are planned, meaning it is not just for dialogue, but you can actually script visual novels in this. And this is an example of the extended difference of Gaussians. The difference of Gaussians, that is, subtracting one blurred image from another less blurred version of an image, can be used for edge detection, and extensions to this approach can be used to create stylized images like the ones you see here. Also beware the next image is a little bit brighter than the previous two. This showcase recreates an implementation from Acerola for Bevy with a couple of effects. And here we have Warhammer Dark Omen as an implementation in Bevy. This week brings a number of updates, including rank changes, animation variations for units, unit formations, and a scriptable Lua-based campaign mode, including meeting points, travel map, battles, and debriefs. And Lumina, a top-down, fast-paced, objective-based PvP game, was showcased at Malaysia's Indie Jam event. You can check out the gameplay over on YouTube and give it a play over on itch.io. And first off, in the releases this week, we've got the Bevy Color VSCode extension. Bevy Color is an extension for VS Code to preview colors declared in Rust files using the Bevy game engine. It allows adjusting them with the integrated color picker. And Bevy Yarn Spinner is the Bevy plugin for the Rust port of Yarn Spinner, the friendly tool for writing game dialogue. In 0.5, yarn functions can now be regular Bevy systems. That means your functions can query the ECS directly. And with 0.16 out, Bevy templates are starting to update. This is Simple Bevy Template, which is a Bevy game template that automatically sets up fast compiles, including mold, crane lift, and a parallel compiler frontend. Next up, we've got Bevy Ratatouille Camera 0.13. Render your Bevy app to the terminal using Ratatouille. Recent features include sub cameras and transparency support, edge detection working for all text conversion strategies, and support for terminals with limited color support. Bevy App Compute is an interesting crate, which has just been revitalized. Bevy App Compute attempts to improve the experience of developing compute shaders for Bevy applications. And if you haven't seen it before, I would roughly consider it the equivalent of a material trait, but for compute shaders. And Bevy Rand got a 0.10 release. Bevy Rand is a plugin to provide integration of Rand ecosystem PRNGs in an ECS-friendly way. 0.10 brings improved developer experience due to relations, observers, a new command-based API, which all results in less boilerplate. It also implements no standard support. And Bevy Sun Move is a first release. This is a utility crate that supports the new atmosphere functionality in 0.16. It lets you calculate physically correct sun trajectories to achieve desired day lengths, night lengths, and maximum sun heights, as well as allows you to animate a directional light across the sky. And Bevy Flare 0.2 enables developers to style Bevy UI interfaces using familiar CSS syntax. And that brings us to Bevy Lint 0.3. The Bevy Linter, as we've covered previously, is a project built as part of the Bevy CLI Please Clap working group. It is a custom linter like Clippy that checks for Bevy-specific idioms, optimizations, and footguns. 0.3 brings 2 new lints, Bevy 0.16 support, a Github Action, and more. If you want to install it, go check out the release page for install instructions. Bevy-butler 0.6.1 is out. Bevy-butler is a set of procedural macros for reducing boilerplate and making Bevy plugins and systems more self-documenting. 0.6.1 changes up a lot of the macro syntax since custom parsing code has now been replaced with Deluxe to simplify implementations in the future. And crowdsim 0.1 was released and open sourced. This is the crowd simulation with the cubes that we saw earlier in this issue. Overall, this is a multiplayer crowd simulation binary crate that is bare bones with minimal dependencies, which, of course, you can now run yourself. The immediate stats crate is a game stats crate that resets every frame, inspired by immediate mode rendering. While Bevy Fix GLTF coordinate system is a tiny plugin to fix the fact that Bevy does not respect the GLTF coordinate system. The TLDR here is that GLTF uses positive Z as forward, while Bevy uses negative Z. However, the GLTF importer in Bevy ignores this fact and pretends that GLTF and Bevy use the same coordinate system. The result is that all GLTFs imported into Bevy are rotated by 180 degrees. This plugin fixes that. This fix might be upstreamed in the future, which, if you click on the link on the website, could be you. So if you're looking to get involved in Bevy, this is a great option. And this is Bevy Blockout. Bevy Blockout is a triplanar blockout texture made from a combination of the best darn grid shader yet and some simple checkerboards. The blockout material is a standard material extension, which means you can set whatever color, reflectance, and etc. variables you want. It's usable directly in Bevy, as well as in editors that use reflection data using a special component with hooks that consumes a standard material to create the extension. And finally, for the releases, we've got wasvy, a bridge between Bevy and the WASM component model. You can create new components, register systems from a WASM component, and doing it is as simple as adding another plugin to your game. This crate is currently in alpha status and looking for feedback. That brings us to the educational section this week, where we have Intro to Relationships in Bevy 0.16 and Hooks and Observers in Bevy 0.16, which, if you're watching this video, are both actually videos on this channel. And of course, as usual, we have all the pull requests that were merged listed on the website if you would like to look for those. If you want to get involved, we also have all the pull requests that were opened and need review, as well as all the issues that were opened, which might be bugs that you could fix. So definitely go check those out, and I will see you next week. Have a great rest of yours.